welcome back to McChanic. Today I'm going to begin the removal of the roof skin on the car. It does have quite a bit of rust, but it also has a lot of good metal left over too. So I'll salvage some of that for smaller patches on the car. And I'm gonna start back here on the back where it's leaded into the body. I'm gonna use a torch and a wire wheel to melt some of it away and grind some of it away to expose the spot welds under there. And then I'll use a spot weld cutter to cut those out and then just work my way forward to finish the removal of the roof skin. I made sure to get P100 cartridges for my respirator because I'm gonna be creating a lot of lead dust and I don't wanna be breathing that. And P100 cartridges are rated for lead dust. So let's get started. All right, we got Renee here today. She brought me her famous oatmeal scotchies, which I can never say no to. So it's an excellent day on the car. So I exposed the lead with the wire wheel, got down to the bare lead, and now I'm gonna take the torch to it and see how much damage I can do. All right, so as I started to melt the lead away, I feared that it would just melt down and stick to everything below, but it seems to be doing what I wanted it to do, which was melt out of the spot at the seam, but not stick below. So that's a success. This is after one more pass with the wire wheel, and you can see all the little spot welds. And there's also 1, 2, 3 small beads that are run along it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and center punch all of these spot welds so I can center my spot weld cutting tool, cut all those out, and then I'll use a small disc on my angle grinder to cut away these 3 beads, and hopefully that'll remove it. We'll see. So far, the spot weld cutter seems to be doing pretty great. I found out that if you don't make a nice deep detent, it likes to wander. And even still, it wanders sometimes anyway. So I'm just gonna take my time, get these last 2 done, and then continue on. Cut out all the spot welds, cut out the 3 beads that were there, and I think I'm free on this corner now. Now I'm gonna move on under here, which, if I'm not mistaken, is just folded over. I don't think there's any welds here. So I'm gonna unfold that and then move on to this back piece, which I think is spot welded in, but I'm gonna have to do further investigation on that. Just to make sure I was all the way removed, I just cut this corner piece out. So I'm disconnected there. I unfolded this all the way down till I was comfortable. I didn't want to go too far because I'm not sure exactly where the new roof skin is going to attach, so I didn't want to go past that just in case. And then on the rear, I checked underneath and you can see there's a bunch of spot welds. So those are going to be difficult to locate on the top because it was all pitted with rust. So I'm gonna figure out some way to remove this piece on the back, and then I'll repeat the steps on the other side and start recording again when I get to the front pillars. What I've decided I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna use the cutting disc and I'm just gonna cut along the inside of where the angle is, where the rear window is gonna go in. And I'm just gonna leave this second layer of metal here for now and maybe forever. Ultimately, it's only gonna raise the height of the roof like a 32nd of an inch, maybe a 16th at most. And unless I can think of a reason why that's gonna make a huge difference, I might just weld right to this with the new roof skin. But for now, I'm just gonna make the cut and see how it goes. Roof skin is off of the car. Looks pretty much as I expected it would. As for the body of the car, back here on the driver's side B-pillar, came out really nice. I think it'll be pretty easy to clean up and give me a weldable surface there. As for the passenger side, this looks like hell. Big piece missing, a lot of ragged metal. So I'm gonna have to cut all this out, make a new piece to weld in there to restore some structural integrity before I put a new roof skin on it. And then right now what I'm gonna do is wire wheel all of this surface rust off of here, and then I'll give this a coat of some rust encapsulating primer. Now that the whole roof has been covered in rust reformer, it's time to address this problem. So I'm mid-episode, and I haven't been on the car in like 3 whole months. Shame on me. I've been working on the house, trying to get it ready for winter, blah, blah, excuses. But I'm here today, and I'm working on this little hole I gotta reinforce on the roof. What I've done so far is I made a template out of some cardboard, just traced it out with a Sharpie, got it where I wanted it, transferred this to a piece of the old roof skin, tried to shape it to about what I needed using a hammer and dolly and a vise. I got it pretty close. It's not perfect yet, but this isn't going to be visible anyway. So I'll just do a little bit more work on this, clean it up, get it welded in. Got this piece fitting the way I want it to now. Drilled holes every few inches for some plug welds. I'll probably lay some beads down on the outside as well to fortify it even further. I put weld through primer on the body of the car and on the back side of this piece, and I realized that I'd missed this little chunk here, so I'll have to come back and put that in at the end as well. Got the patch panel welded in. I ground down everything on the bottom because it has to be recessed from the outside skin of the body because the roof skin is going to be flush with this. Everything up top I left because it's not going to be exposed. And then I went along the whole back where the roof skin's going to attach back here and ground that down to flat bare metal. Did the same thing along the front where the windshield's going to go. And now it's time to mock up the roof skin. After a little while of mocking up the roof skin over and over again, I found out that the one thickness of extra metal along the front and the rear windows was enough to make it not line up properly. So I went ahead and removed all the spot welds, ground it down to bare metal on both the front and the back, and I'm using a new weldable primer called Steel It, and I hope it works better than the last one because the last one was horrible. So I've got the final cuts done, all the mock-up is complete, and I just used this pneumatic tool I got. It's got a flanger on one side and a punch on the other, and I punched all these holes around the perimeter of the roof skin to get it welded in, and it worked fantastic. So I'm gonna put that on the car and start welding. Yeah. Ian's back to help. We got the roof mocked up with the help of a few Clecos and a couple pairs of vice grips, and I'm gonna get this thing burned in. Now that I got most of the spot welds done across the back and the front, now it's time to fold these lips under. I'm just gonna use a hammer for that. Put a sharp crease in this, fold it around the existing substructure of the roof, and then I have all these holes punched that I'm gonna put spot welds in additionally. And just like that, I have a new roof. It took quite a long time and a lot of hammering to get these drip rails right, but I found it helped a lot to put a dolly up on top as I was hammering it from the bottom. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close, and I'm happy where it's at right now. The final verdict on the Steel It weldable primer is it's better than the other stuff, but it still makes nasty fumes and is more difficult to weld than if you just had clean raw steel. So if I have to use it again, I will, but I'm gonna do my best just to weld raw materials. And now on to the next.